Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations.
Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine and docks where visitors to the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor.
Mavis is a diesel engine who works for the quarry company, shunting trucks in their sidings. She has 6 small wheels hidden by side plates, just like Toby's. Mavis is young and full of her own ideas. She loves rearranging things too, and began putting Toby's trucks in different places every day. This made Toby cross.
How many times do I have to tell you? Trucks should be where you want them when you want them.
Fiddlesticks!
At last, Toby lost patience.
Look, I can't waste time playing hunt the truck with you anymore. Take them yourself.
Mavis was pleased. Taking trucks made her feel important.
Ooh, yes. That would be nice.
At the yard, Diesel oiled up to her.
Hello, Mavis. Why so glum?
Toby is an old fusspot.
Diesel sensed trouble and was delighted.
Really?
Yes, and he says that only steamies can manage trucks.
How absurd. Depend upon it, Mavis. Anything steam engines can do, we diesels can do better.
Diesel knew nothing about trucks, but Mavis didn't realize this. Toby's line crosses the main road behind the station, and for a short way, follows a farm lane. Frosty weather makes the muddy lane rock hard and very slippery. Toby stops before reaching the lane. His fireman holds the traffic at the crossing, and then he sets off again. By using the heavy trucks that push him along, he has no trouble with the frosty rails in the lane. It is the only safe thing to do in this kind of weather. Toby warned Mavis and told her just what to do.
I can manage, thank you. I'm not an old fusspot like you.
The trucks were tired of being pushed around by Mavis.
Excuse me! Let's push you around and skate! On!
Mavis took no notice. Instead, she brought the trucks carefully down the lane and stopped at the level crossing.
Ha ha! That's one in the headlamp for fusspot Toby. Okay, off we go.
But Mavis had stopped in the wrong place. Instead of taking Toby's advice, she had given the trucks the chance they wanted.
I'm so slippy!
Hold back! Hold back! Hold back! Hold back!
Mavis sanded the rails and tried to dig away the frozen mud, but it was no good. Everyone was impatient.
Bother!
Toby was in the yard when he heard the news.
I warned her.
She's young yet, you know.
She can manage her trucks herself.
They're your trucks, really. Mavis is supposed to stay here at the quarry. If the manager or the Fat Controller find out about this...
Yes.
He and his driver agreed that it would be best to help Mavis after all, and they set off to the rescue. And every father was telling Mavis just what she could do with her train.
Having trouble, Mavis? I am surprised.
And with much puffing and wheel slip, Toby pushed Mavis and the trucks back. The hard worker's fire burned fiercely, and his firemen spread hot cinders to melt the frozen mud. They finished.
Goodbye. You'll manage now, I expect.
Mavis didn't answer. She took the trucks to the sheds and scuttled home to the quarry.
All the engines on Sir Topham Hatt's railway like to run on time. Emily is taking some grain to the flour mill. The miller is waiting for Emily. He can't make the flour until Emily has brought him the grain. Emily brings him the grain on time. The flour is soon ready. Then, Percy arrives to collect the flour. Percy is on his way. Percy is taking the flour to the baker. The baker is waiting for Percy. He can't bake his bread until Percy brings him the flour. Percy arrives on time. When the bread has been baked, Thomas arrives to collect it. Thomas is on his way. Thomas is taking the bread to market. The market lady is waiting for Thomas. She can't sell the bread until Thomas brings it to market. Thomas arrives on time. Emily took the grain to the mill where it was turned into flour. Then Percy took the flour to the bakery where it was turned into bread. Then Thomas took the bread to market. They all arrived on time. Now everyone can have toast for breakfast.
He's a really useful engine, you know. All the other engines, they'll tell you so. He huffs and puffs and whistles, rushing to and fro. He's the really useful engine we adore. He's a really useful engine, you know. 'Cause the Fat Controller, he told him so. Now he's got a branch line to call his very own. He's the really useful engine we adore. He's the one. He's the one. He's the really useful engine that we adore. He's the one. He's the number one. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Thomas and Percy have to move some troublesome trucks. Thomas is pushing. And Percy is pushing too. But the troublesome trucks are going nowhere. Can you see why? That's right. Thomas and Percy are pushing against each other. No wonder it's so difficult. Let's try this again. This time, Thomas is pulling instead of pushing. And so is Percy. But the troublesome trucks are still not moving. Do you know why? Thomas and Percy are now pulling against each other. What should they do? Exactly. One should push and the other should pull. And between them, Thomas and Percy will move those troublesome trucks in no time. Working together makes a job easier.
One day, Percy arrived at the quarry to collect some stone for his trucks. Snow and frost lay everywhere. There was not a sound to be heard. Percy ventured further. He found Mavis, the new diesel engine, resting in the shelter of some rocks.
Cheer up, Mavis. What long face?
Mavis was still remembering the trouble she had with trucks.
Listen, you green caterpillar. Manager says I don't listen to advice. He says I've no business jantering down Toby's line. Toby's a fusspot.
I'll have you know that Toby has forgot more about trucks than you'll ever know. You must put the trucks where he wants them. Then you'll be a really useful engine. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to take some stones to the harbor. Goodbye.
Even though Mavis liked Percy, she still wouldn't listen to his advice.
Why should I go on Toby's line?
The siding arrangements were awkward. To put the trucks where Toby wanted them, Mavis had to make several journeys. She started making a plan.
If we used the teeniest bit of Toby's line, we would save all this bother.
Her drivers, expecting nothing, allowed them to go as far as the first level crossing. A few days later, the weather changed. As the snow melted, the quarry grew busy again. Some trains were so long that before leaving the trucks for Toby, Mavis had to go beyond the level crossing with them. Now for her plan, she would go further down the line without it seeming her fault.
Hey, can you keep a secret?
Oh, yes, 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 yes!
Will you bum me at the level crossing and tell no one I asked you?
The trucks promised, but whilst Mavis was away, Toby arrived and he decided to shove the trucks himself. The trucks decided to bump him anyway. They reached the level crossing, and Toby's brakes came on. This was the signal for the trucks.
On!
And with a fearful bump, Toby was away, with the trucks screaming and yelling behind him. No one realized that melted snow had turned a stream ahead into a torrent, and the bridge above it was about to collapse. To make things worse, the rails were now like a tightrope across the thundering water.
Stop! Stop! I'm begging you! Stop!
His driver fought for control. They came nearer and nearer to the bridge. It was all or nothing now.
No!
The driver braked hard. Toby stopped, still on the rails, but with his wheels treading the tightrope over the abyss. Mavis was horrified and quickly came to the rescue. Workman anchored Toby with ropes while she pulled the trucks away. Then she helped Toby to safety.
sorry about the trucks. I can't think how you managed to stop them in time.
Oh, well, my drivers told me about circus people who walk tightropes, but I just didn't fancy doing it myself.
Later, the Fat Controller arrived.
A very smart piece of work, Mavis. You did well too, I hear.
It was my fault about those trucks, sir. But I can manage.
Could what?
Come down the line sometimes, sir. Toby says he'll show me what to do.
Certainly, if your manager agrees.
And so was arranged. Now Mavis is as happy as can be, and the Fat Controller thinks she's really useful indeed.
He's the cheek